is the basic circuit diagram that can be used as a magnetostriction effect. Now, whatever we had spoken, that would be the construction of the magnetostriction oscillator. That we are in a construction manner, we will write that we are using ferromagnetic material in a form of rod. We are using two inductor L1 and inductor L2. Role of this inductor is to generate change in current to the circuit. We are using one variable capacitor. Variable capacitor is used to form a resonance circuit. It is used to form a tank circuit or a L1C1 parallel circuit. By making combination of L1 and C1, we are able to generate 1 upon 2 pi root L1 C1 circuit frequency in a form of hertz. Unit of a frequency is hertz. So this will the construction. This is the construction. If we see the working, as we switch on the power supply, current is passing through the circuit's component. Further, this connection is directed to L1C1 circuit. So frequency, that is 1 upon 2 pi root L1C1 is generated by L1C1 network. Further, there is a particular natural frequency of a ferromagnetic rod. Natural frequency is given by F is equal to P upon 2L root E upon rho, where L represents the length of the ferromagnetic rod, E means Young modulus of the ferromagnetic rod, and density of the material that we are using, that is rho. So by calculating the Young modulus, density of the material and length of the material, we are able to find out the natural frequency of a ferromagnetic rod. Further, here variable is length. Length is a variable parameter to adjust the value of a frequency generated by the rod. Further, by switching on the circuit, there is a particular frequency is generated by L1C1 circuit. Now based on magnetostriction effect, magnetic field are responsible to change the length of the ferromagnetic material. So by introducing change in length, means that is the delta L, there will be some current will be flow through the ammeter, and current can be measured by the milliammeter. So there is just a generation of a slight vibrations. There are slight vibrations are found in a position of a ferromagnetic rod when any general frequency is given by L1C1 tank circuit. But what happens if we change the capacitance? If we change the capacitance in a such manner that frequency of a applied alternative magnetic field becomes the frequency of a natural frequency or a fundamental frequency of a ferromagnetic rod. So applied alternative frequency that is equal to natural frequency of a ferromagnetic rod. So such types of mixing, matching, not a mixing, it is a matching or a tuning of a two frequencies, that is known as resonance. Now at the time of a resonance, there is a generation of a greater amount of a current that can be detected over the milliammeter. Now actually, based on the construction or working of a NPN transistor, emitter current can be controlled by base current, and base is directly connected with a inductor L2. So in any type of oscillator, there is always requirement of a feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanism means output of any oscillator should be given to the input. Feed means to give some amount. Back means from output. So output portion is directly connected to the input, and we are giving some output energy from output to the input. This is known as feedback. Feedback mechanism is always required to generate the continuous oscillation. This is magnetostriction oscillator. So feedback mechanism is required. Now how can we provide such feedback mechanism? Here we can say that there is a generation of maximum current. So there is a greater value of emitter current. Emitter current always controls the base current. Base current is directly connected to the inductor inductor L2. So what happens? Current or a greater current is passing, I2 current is passing through the inductor L2. Now what happens? If current is passing through any inductor, surrounding the inductor, magnetic field is generated. So magnetic field is generated, and this rod is not a stationary rod, because this rod is continuously subjected to alternative magnetic field. So this rod is not a stationary rod. This rod is continuously vibrating from one place to another place. So ferromagnetic rod, position of a ferromagnetic rod, that is continuously being changed, and in this situation there is a ferromagnetic rod that is subjected to value of a certain value of a magnetic field. So what happens? EMF, electromotive force, is generated by inductor L2. So by this way we are giving output portion to the input, and we are able to maintain continuous ultrasonic waves. Actually, XY is a rod of a ferromagnetic rod like iron or nickel. Rod is clamped from the middle side. Alternative magnetic field is used to generate change in length in a ferromagnetic rod. Coil L1 and coil L2 is bounded at the two opposite sides. As I said, resonance circuit is formed by L1C1 tank circuit or resonance circuit, or L1C1 parallel circuit. In L1 and L2 are wounded from the both ends of the ferromagnetic rod. We are giving some feedback mechanism as I discussed. Frequency of a L1C1 resonant circuit is given by 1/2 pi root L1C. We are changing the value of a capacitance in a such way that a value of a L1C1 resonant circuit will give the value of a natural frequency of the ferromagnetic rod. Now this alternating current flowing through the L1 produces alternative magnetic field along the length of the rod. So by this way, input is alternative magnetic field and output is change in length, and by this mechanism we are able to generate a ferromagnetic rod continuous vibrations. It should be noted that the frequency of the vibrations of the ultrasonic waves, that is above the 20 kilohertz. So this is the starting range frequency value of a ultrasonic waves. So by this way this ferromagnetic material is able to generate ultrasonic waves. So this is known as magnetostriction oscillator. Here this slide shows the natural value frequency of a ferromagnetic material. L is the length of the ferromagnetic rod, Young modulus is Y, and density is rho. Here, what are the advantages of the ferromagnetic rod? That is the most important component of the magnetostriction oscillator. Here we know that the value of a iron in a weight that is negligible in a compared to quartz, Rossel salt or tourmaline. These are the crystals. So the value of a iron can be negligible. It is cheap in a compared to quartz. So in a designing we are using just a single transistor, 1 milliammeter, 2 solenoids. These are the basic components of the magnetostriction oscillator. So if we compare the price list of such two inductor, one transistor, one emitter, so it is cheaper. It is not expensive. So first advantage is this oscillator is a low cost oscillator. It is simple. Another thing is that low ultrasonic frequency can be generated. There is a greater value of a output ultrasonic power. These are the advantages. But if we see that each and every advantage have some another disadvantage. First thing is that upper frequency limit is lower. Maximum frequency can be generated up to 3 megahertz. Above 3 megahertz frequency is ultrasonic waves. If we want to generate ultrasonic waves having the frequency of the value of a 3 megahertz, we cannot use this oscillator. We cannot use this magnetostriction oscillator. We should go for a piezoelectric oscillator. So this is the disadvantages. Another thing is that frequency of a ultrasonic waves generated by the magnetostriction oscillator, that is totally depending on the temperature. How temperature controls the frequency of a magnetostriction oscillator? Answer is that in a magnetostriction oscillator we are using ferromagnetic rod. If temperature is higher, for a higher value of a temperature, it will give greater value of a length. For a lower value of a temperature, it will give lower value of a length. So the length of a ferromagnetic rod that we are using to prepare a magnetostriction oscillator, that is totally depending on a temperature. If we see the formula, length of a ferromagnetic rod controls the value of a frequency of a magnetostriction oscillator. So frequency is depending on the length of a ferromagnetic material, and length of the ferromagnetic material that is controlled by the temperature, ambient temperature of the environment. So frequency is depending on a temperature. There will be energy losses, hysteresis losses, because we are using ferromagnetic material. So ferromagnetic material always shows hysteresis loss. Another effect is piezoelectric effect. In a piezoelectric effect, there are one pair of a two opposite faces. Actually, this is a phase 1. This is a phase 1. This is another phase phase 1 and phase 2 both are in a contact but in a opposite sides. Here we are applying pressure. Pressure is applying towards the one pair of a two oppositely aligned two faces of a quartz crystal. This is a quartz crystal. Actually, this is a mechanical axis. This axis is known as mechanical axis. Actually, that is also known as optical axis. Now, what happens whenever pressure is applied to the one pair of the two opposite faces? We can say that there are a generation of a negative charges, there is a generation of a positive charges. These negative charges and positive charges both are generated perpendicular to the optical axis. So, in a quartz crystal, input is a pressure, output is a generation of a electric field or electromotive force, EMF. Input 1 is pressure, output is electromotive force. So this is known as, means to convert pressure to electromotive force, it is known as piezoelectric effect. Now in a inverse piezoelectric effect, what happens? If alternative voltage is given to the one pair of the two opposite faces, due to the alternative voltage, means input is electromotive force, so this quartz crystal will start to make vibrations. Vibrations means quartz crystal undergoes contractions, quartz crystal undergoes expansions. So input is electromotive force, output is vibrations. Vibrations means it is the primary requirement for generating sound energy. Sound energy can never be generated without the vibrations of the body. So first one that we had discussed is known as piezoelectric effect, and second it is known as inverse piezoelectric effect. This is the construction of a piezoelectric oscillator. There are two conducting plates. These are in contact with the quartz crystal. Quartz crystal is connected with a